You can think of your credit report as the official story of your financial life, right? Every payment, every loan, every card is like a chapter in that story. But what happens when that story has plot holes, when the details just don't add up? Well, that's exactly what we're going to investigate today.
So let me just ask you point blank. Is your credit report telling the whole truth? It's a really important question because even small inaccuracies can have a huge impact. So let's put on our detective hats and learn how to spot the clues of bad data that might be hiding in plain sight.
See, to find the errors, you first have to understand the language they're written in. There's a very specific system, kind of like a set of rules, that dictates exactly how all your financial data gets reported. And when those rules get broken, that's when the problems start.
That system is called Metro 2. Now don't worry, you don't need to be some kind of tech wizard here. Just think of Metro 2 as the official rulebook. Every single company that reports your data, we're talking banks, lenders, you name it, they're all supposed to be following this rulebook. When they don't, these logical impossibilities can just pop up all over your report.
And that brings us right to our field guide. We're about to walk through some of the most common discrepancies you'll see, the kind of logical errors that an auditor, say from an agency like Lux Credit, would flag in a heartbeat. These are the smoking guns you're looking for.
All right, let's start with a classic. You're looking at your report and you see an account has a zero balance. Awesome. But then you look right next to it and it says you have a past due amount of $50. You gotta be thinking, wait a second, how is that even possible?
Exactly. An auditor would look at that and ask, how can you possibly be past due on an account where you owe no money? The answer is, you can't. And here's the key. This isn't just a simple typo. It's what's known as a data furnishing integrity error. It's a flat-out logical contradiction, and it violates the rules.
Okay, detective. Here's clue number 2. Your report says an old account was transferred or sold to another company. That happens all the time, totally normal. But then you look a little closer and see it's still reporting a balance of, say, $500.
And this right here is a huge problem. Once an account is transferred, the original creditor is supposed to report a zero balance, period. If they don't, it creates a serious risk that you could look like you owe the same debt twice, once to the old company and again to the new one. That is a major reporting error.
All right, let's add one more to your detective kit. You see an account that has the status charge-off. All this means is the creditor has written it off as a loss on their books. It's a terminal status. But then, right below that, the report shows an active monthly payment of $100.
I mean, that makes absolutely no sense, right? A charge-off is the end of the line for that account's normal life. There shouldn't be any active payment happening. An auditor sees this and immediately knows it's an improper coding inconsistency. Those two pieces of information legally cannot exist together on your report.
This table really pulls it all together. On the left, you've got what you see on your report, and on the right, the logical conflict it creates. And look, these examples aren't just hypotheticals. They come straight from the professional compliance framework that experts at Lux Credit Agency use to audit reports for these exact kinds of breakdowns. Now, spotting these errors is so important because they aren't just little mistakes. They actually carry real legal weight. The good news is there are laws specifically designed to protect you from this kind of bad data. The law is on your side.
And the cornerstone of all that protection is the Fair Credit Reporting Act. You'll hear it called the FCRA. And the law is not messing around. It sets a really high bar. It doesn't just ask for accuracy, it literally demands maximum possible accuracy. What that means is logical contradictions like the ones we've seen, they're just not acceptable.
And this law gives you specific rights. Section 623 is your right to accurate information. Section 611 gives you the right to a reasonable investigation if you find something that's not right. These are really powerful tools that help hold the whole system accountable for the data it's reporting about you.
So with everything you now know, it's your turn to take charge. You don't have to just sit back and accept your financial story as it's written. You can become the detective. You can be the auditor of your own data.
And it really comes down to a simple 3-step process. First, get your hands on your reports from all 3 bureaus. Second, start hunting for those clues, those logical conflicts we just talked about. Look for those zero balances with past due amounts, or charged-off accounts that still show a monthly payment. And third, and this is the big one, question everything. If something doesn't make logical sense to you, it's probably an error worth investigating.
This explainer on how to find credit reporting errors was brought to you by us here at Lux Credit Agency. If you've gone through this whole process and you feel like you need some expert guidance to help navigate these pretty complex issues, you can learn a lot more by visiting www.arlamartin.com.
So I'm going to leave you with this final thought. Your entire financial reputation, your ability to get a loan, a car, maybe even a house, it's all built on data. So the most important question you can ask yourself is this: who is checking that data? If the answer isn't you, it's probably time to start.